How many of you have heard of the sweater curse? How many of you know what it is? In a Ravelry poll, 42% openly admitted that they were low-key terrified of the boyfriend sweater curse. That's almost half of us walking around afraid to knit a sweater for the man in our lives. That's crazy, right? But I polled our viewers. 23% said that they believed in it and had experienced it. Well, maybe there's something to this. Because let's talk about it. Nobody wants to spend the next 2 months of their precious knitting time pouring time, effort, and precious energy into a sweater knit for somebody who's just going to ghost them before the sleeves are done. So that is what is commonly known as the sweater curse. It's the belief that if you knit a sweater for your boyfriend, he's going to break up with you before you can finish it. Today I'm here as your personal cheat code provider to guide you through the treacherous waters of boyfriend knitting. We have a 15 pattern roundup of tried and true boyfriend approved sweaters that are designed to fit, flatter, and most importantly, keep that relationship intact. So if that interests you, stick around while we shatter that boyfriend curse. Welcome to episode 7 of The French Knot. So this is my little corner of the internet where we talk about all the knitty, fibery, yarny topics in our lives. If this is your first time, very warm welcome to you. If you've been here before, welcome back. I have had so many comments, so many people reach out, and it's just such a joy to get to know you guys. I'm Tanya. I'm also known as A Naughty Knitter 2 on both Instagram and Ravelry, and I would love it if you would follow me there as well. I live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, nestled up in the Pacific Northwest in a cute little mountain lake town with my fiancé and our 3 French bulldogs, which I'm just going to warn you, they are watching again today and you may hear some snoring. So I'm sorry about the snoring. So let's start out with what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Turtle Dove cardigan by Melissa Clow from Sonder Yarn Co. And it's knit up in their Sunday morning 4-ply fingering, held with their halo. It starts out with knitting at the collar, and then it has raglan increases. And as you go, you're knitting the band with it. It doesn't have any buttons or buttonholes. It's just an open cardigan. So it's a very enjoyable knit. One thing I will say, I haven't finished it. I made it a long time ago, but just elected not to do this finishing detail. The pattern calls for the crochet edging on it, which I think would give it more stability and help it stand up better and stay on the shoulders better. But I kind of like the relaxed fit of it. What do you think? You think I should finish it? I'll stand up and show you. I think I just like the relaxed fit. For now, anyway. And then underneath it, I have my mixed rib cami by Florence Miller. And that is knit up in Knitting for Olive merino in the Dusty Artichoke. I absolutely love this cami now that I have it finished. So in this cami, you'll see, you probably already see this pattern, but it's a mix of just plain stockinette, and then we have some ribbing, and that ribbing has twisted rib. And so it's just a lot, and your hands kind of get tired doing that throughout an entire project, but I love it. So that's what I'm wearing. So if you are ready to dive into the treacherous waters of knitting for your partner, grab a mug of your favorite beverage, grab your knitting, and let's dive in. All right, so we already kind of brushed on the sweater curse. I mean, it's been around as long as yarn, and it's very real. But it's real in the sense that bad surprises, those awkward moments, and even relationship hiccups are real. But it often boils down to simple misunderstandings, unmet expectations on one or the other part, and then picking the wrong patterns or knitting the wrong size or picking the wrong shade of neon green can also contribute. And the curse kind of sneaks in when expectations don't meet reality, and that expectation of a warm hug is met more with a deflating thud. But today I'm going to guide you through these treacherous waters of boyfriend knitting with 15 tried and true boyfriend approved patterns. These patterns are designed to fit, to flatter, and most importantly, keep your relationship intact. We are not in for the boyfriend curse, guys. We are going to shatter that thing. But we have to start with a shift in our mindset. Let's be clear about one thing. Sweaters don't end relationships. Expectations do, all right? That's kind of the bottom line. And to avoid drama or disappointment, you really need to treat this sweater knitting endeavor more like a collaborative project with your partner and not some grand secret surprise attack. I mean, the thought of knitting him a surprise sweater, that is super sweet, and I get that, right? However, the reality of this is that you're investing hundreds of hours of time, huge amounts of money, and ginormous chunks of creative energy. And that really carries a lot of emotional weight, let's be honest. So before you even think about casting on a stitch, let's start by asking him 3 questions and let's really listen to his answers. I think the first question to ask would be, do you prefer pullovers or cardigans? If he's not a guy who likes to pull things over his head and doesn't like collars up close to his neck, he's not going to wear a pullover, so don't make one. And on the flip side, if he doesn't like cardigans, if he thinks they're too fussy, don't make him one. And then secondly, I think this might be the most important thing. Ask him, what is your absolute favorite, most comfortable hoodie or sweater? That is going to give you a huge amount of insight. That'll tell you what style he prefers, what fit he prefers. I mean, even fabric, it'll give you some information about that. That is a huge question. If you only ask one, that's the one. And then the third question, and this is a biggie, probably the second biggest one, are there any fibers that make you itch or are uncomfortable on your skin? Guys, I mean, let's just be honest. If it's not comfortable, he's not going to wear it. I mean, I'm living proof of that. I bought this gorgeous yarn that I absolutely love, but as I hold it, you'll remember I couldn't do it. I had to get new yarn for that rosy sweater. If I'm not willing to wear something that's too scratchy, I'm sure Mr. Knot wouldn't. And I bet you your partner wouldn't either. So anyway, note his answers and trust me, you're already on your way to creating a curse-free knit. First things first, let's get some measurements. This is an important step. Ideally, you'll be able to use the measurements of his favorite sweater. That would be ideal. Just measure that, match it up to the closest measurements in the sweater you want to make, and boom, you've got your answers. But if his favorite sweater isn't available, you're going to have to do this manually. You'll need to take a chest circumference and kind of determine the ease he prefers. Most men prefer some positive ease. A more comfortable, relaxed ease in men is generally between 2 and 10 inches. A slimmer, more tailored look requires more like 1 to 2 inches. So men are a little different than women. A lot of women really like oversized things and feel great in those. Men just don't really wear their clothes that way. They don't wear them tight, but they don't wear that huge oversized look. So don't make a sweater that way. Take it from me. We'll get there in a minute. Sleeve length can also make or break a sweater. So when you measure for sleeve length, you want to go from right at the seam of his shoulder, right there, down to where you want the sleeve to end. Most men like that to be around the base of the thumb. As women, we often like that to extend a little further, or sometimes to be fashionable, we like it a little higher. But in general, guys are a little bit more specific. They kind of like it right here. So just keep that in mind when you're measuring for sleeves. Now, shoulder width is a measurement that isn't always stated in patterns. But this can be obtained by measuring his favorite sweater from shoulder seam to shoulder seam. And then if your pattern has a schematic, you can often infer that as well. And then next, don't overlook bicep circumference. This is vital. It's not as big of a deal in women. We tend to not have overdeveloped arms, right? But some guys have really big biceps. And so you might want to take into account, you might need to go up a sleeve size when you're knitting if he has really large biceps. So measure at the largest part of the bicep and then add 1 to 2 inches for positive ease. And that's where the sleeve should be. The next step is considering yarn. Now, when choosing yarn, it's not just about color. Color's fun, but more importantly, we need to consider its practicality, durability, comfort. When you think about all of these variables, superwash merino is often an MVP. It's soft, it has good stitch definition, and probably most importantly, it can survive accidentally going through the washing machine. Let's be honest, most guys aren't that careful with washing things. So is it ideal to wash your sweater in the washing machine? Probably not, but it's likely to happen. So I'm just throwing that out there. Next up, we have rustic wool. Now, rustic wool it's a little more rugged and outdoorsy, and it's often more sturdy and hard wearing. It's going to give you that classic sturdy look, but make sure that it's not too scratchy for his skin. And then another one would be a single ply cashmere. This is definitely more prone to pilling and felting. And obviously a trip through the washing machine would be disaster. But think about how he's going to be wearing it. Is this going to be something he just wears on Sundays when he goes to church or some special event? Or is this going to be something he wants to go hiking in and chopping wood and wearing to the fire pit in the evening? If it's that, cashmere is not the best choice because the sweating is going to cause pilling. The constant rubbing is going to cause wear. And so just think about how he's going to want to be using this sweater and choose accordingly. Now, finally, word to the wise, buy an extra skein as an insurance policy. Remember, the men have longer arms and bodies, and their sweaters often require a little extra yarn. A lot of patterns that we look at in Ravelry and Etsy are written for women and labeled as unisex. So just keep that in mind, that those yardage requirements might be a little skewed toward women. Now you have your measurements. You've chosen the type of yarn that you're going to use. Now it's time to find the perfect pattern. That's what you're here for. All right, we're going to start with the classics. The first sweater that I have is the Alessandro by Cookie the Knitter. This is a modern classic. It is just your quintessential sweater. It's top down, it has a set-in sleeve, beautiful crew neck. It has a comfortable ease without being sloppy. She recommends a worsted weight yarn for it, and so in that case, it's going to knit up very fast, making a very satisfying project that's not going to drag on and on forever. And maybe most importantly, it has that understated Scandinavian cool factor, right? But this is a very nice classic sweater that would become a staple in his wardrobe very quickly. It comes in 5 sizes, ranging from 38.75 to 50.5 inches. It has a recommended positive ease of 0.75 to 3 inches. The yarn that she recommends is Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino, held with a compatible cashmere. Now, that's a thick yarn. You knit up on a US 9 with a recommended gauge of 15 stitches per 4 inches. But man, I think about that Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino held with that compatible cashmere, and I'm thinking you could even do a little shade different for that compatible cashmere and get the really subtle marling effect. Could be gorgeous as well. A stunning combination of yarns to use. Next up, I chose the So Basic sweater by Maxim Cyr. Now, I guarantee if you choose this sweater, it's going to quickly become a wardrobe staple. This is gorgeous. It's knit from the top down. It has a beautiful crew neck construction. It's knit in the round. He's included short rows and raglan construction for fitting. But look at the detailing on those shoulders. That is just stunning. It has beautiful design details in the shoulders that go down the arm, just to give it a very polished look. I love this sweater. This is definitely on my list of things that I might knit up for Mr. Knot. We're going to get to that in just a minute. All right, and this sweater comes in 9 sizes, ranging from 32 to 64 inches, with an intended positive ease of 2 to 6 inches. Now, he recommends knitting it with the Le Garçon British DK in 2-ply. It's a BFL Masham blend, and so it's a little bit more on the rustic side, I would say, so just be cognizant of that. But it's also a very bouncy, beautiful yarn, so if he can tolerate it, or if he likes to wear shirts underneath his sweaters, that would be a gorgeous yarn to use. It's knit up on a US 5 with a 20 stitch per 4 inch gauge. Again, that's the So Basic by Maxim Cyr. Next up, I have chosen the Flax Worsted by Tin Can Knits. One thing that really appealed to me when looking at this project was that it's free. I'm willing to pay for a good pattern, but if I can get it for free, why not? So in this pattern, not only is free, but it's extremely versatile. So it has sizing ranging from newborn to full-size adult. Detail-wise, it has this garter panel down the sleeves that help to provide visual interest without being complicated. It's a simple pattern, but just gorgeous. It does have a raglan construction, and like I said earlier, it ranges in sizing from newborn to 4XL. So that's like 18 to 70 inches with an intended positive ease of 1 to 3 inches. Now, can't you just see this as a gift knit for like father and son or uncle and nephew? It screams family pictures to me. So think about that. You could make one for yourself. You could make one for all the kiddos, make one for your partner, make them in all different colors, but complementary. I just think it sounds cute. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, aren't I? All right, back to the sweaters. The next group of sweaters is more about texture and color. These sweaters are going to provide a little bit more visual interest without being too like delicate or fussy. They're going to have texture, color work, and bold design, but all of these things are going to remain distinctly masculine. The first one that I've selected is The Finest Kind by Alicia Plummer. This sweater was intended as her Rhinebeck sweater this year, 2025. And I'll just say the rugged marine coastline lives in every stitch of this sweater. It's a simple texture. It combines with some fresh ribbing concepts for this perfect classic pullover look. It's knit bottom up, and then the crew neck is rolled. It's just so cool. She does have a modified drop shoulder, which is going to give some forgiveness when it comes to large shoulders, I believe. But she also provides a schematic. So I think that will help with determining the sizing if you have somebody with broad shoulders. This would be a top pick for me. It's graded in 12 sizes, ranging from 36.5 to 80.5 inches, with an intended ease of 2 to 12 inches. Now, she did make this unisex, and so some of those bigger eases look better on the women, I think. So I would stick closer to that 2 to 4 inches of positive ease if I were knitting this sweater, but that's just me. You do what you want. And the yarn that she used is from Harrisville Design Sheer. It's the Wellscroft Dorset Aran, which is 100% Dorset wool. And so I think that's a little bit more rustic again. If you wanted that rustic quality without the itchy factor, Knitting for Olive might be a good alternative to that. If you want superwash, Cascade 220 superwash would be a good alternative. So there are options outside of that. Now, as you knit up on a US 8 with a gauge of 16 inches per 4 inches. Next up, I have the Gib by Andrea Mowry. Now, before we get into the Gib, I want to go into how this whole roundabout came about. I knit the Gib last year for Mr. Knott, and he is a sweetheart, and he would never criticize anything I had made him. He's just very excited to get anything, but I'm very disappointed in myself. I thought it would be a great idea to surprise him, and I didn't do anything that I'm telling you to do. I didn't ask him about his favorite sweater. I didn't ask for measurements. I didn't ask about color. I got lucky on color. But yeah, let me show you what happened. So Mr. Knott is not a huge man, all right? Keep that in mind when I show you this sweater. Are you laughing? Are you laughing? Oh my God, I'm laughing. It is so huge. I probably knitted 3 sizes too big. And that led to so many problems, guys. So when you knit it this big, it's heavy and it's got a lot of texture in it. Let me show you the texture. Do you see the texture in that? It's really pretty texture. But anytime you have texture in a sweater, keep in mind it's going to grow, right? And so everything is just too big on him. He swims in it. I actually had to immediately put elastic in the neckline to keep it from just like falling off his shoulders almost. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed to tell you this. But I learned so much, and I'm here to keep you from making the same mistakes as I did. But look at how gorgeous the pattern is. I'm not dogging on the pattern at all. Andrea Mowry wrote a beautiful, beautiful pattern. So the Gib is knit top down, and like you can see, it has all over texture. And then it has, at the raglan, it has this cabled raglan. Do you see that? I did a nice job knitting it. It's just too big. So it's available in 9 sizes, ranging from 33.5 to 65 inches, with an intended positive ease of 2 to 6 inches, not this, whatever this is. She recommended knitting it up in Brooklyn Tweed in Boo in their worsted weight. Now, unfortunately, Brooklyn Tweed is no longer manufacturing yarn, so we have to come up with other recommendations. I would think the Cascade 220, if you wanted a non-superwash option, or the Cascade 220 superwash if you wanted a superwash option. There's also Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino, which would be great. All you need to do is be able to get a 16 stitch per 4 inch on a 7-inch needle, and you've met gauge, and that yarn is appropriate. And then what I want you to do when you're knitting up your swatches for anything that's textured, I want you to knit up a decent size swatch and kind of hang it to see how much it grows. Because that is something I was not privy to or didn't understand when I knit this, how much texture can grow. And I'm really sad because I love this sweater and I put a lot of work into it. And it's beautiful yarn too. I use the Yarn Nouveau. It's a tonal yarn in their worsted weight. It's gorgeous. Everything about it, except it's just too big. Too big. So don't make my mistake. Learn from me. Learn from me. Next up, I have another pattern by Andrea Mowry. It's the Alpenglow II. This sweater, it has this stunning colorwork yoke on an earthy palette. And so I'm thinking the combination of her increases and the sport weight yarn prevents that bulkiness that we get here that makes us feel like we're drowning in the sweater. So I would trust this pattern even though it's a circular yoke because it's Andrea Mowry. And the yarn that she's recommending is 3 different sport weights plus a spin cycle. And so I don't think you're going to make a sweater that he swims in with this. Just my opinion based on your feedback. And you guys are way smarter than me. I just love all the help that you've given me. All right, more about the sweater. It's graded in 9 sizes, ranging from 34 to 66 inches, with a 0 to 6 inches of intended ease. It's knit up on a US 4 with a gauge of 23. Now, that's kind of a tight gauge, so it's going to take a little longer, but I think it's still going to fly because you're just going to keep wanting to get to the next, to the next, to the next. So that's the Alpenglow II by Andrea Mowry. Next up, I have a creation by Clow of the Creabea. She has the Stick Season sweater. Now, she says this sweater was inspired by the Stick Season album by Noah Kahan. I've never listened to Noah Kahan, but I trust Clow. She says it's about getting cozy as the days get colder and just having something comfortable nearby. That sounds wonderful. That sounds like everything I want in a sweater. So she's designed a traditional sweater with this textured yoke. She's added this neat, very chic shoulder detailing and then these faux seams. I'm going to put them up here so that you can see. It is just, she's thought of everything. She is so detailed as a designer. Everybody talks about her perfect sizing and her incredible detail in her patterns. And so I think it'd be really fun to make a men's knit by Clow for these reasons. Now, this one in particular has a drop shoulder that's going to give it more of a relaxed fit and is probably more forgiving for those guys with the broad shoulders. The yarn that she recommends is the Explorer Knits and Fibers Earthy DK. But again, I think you could use any DK and get the intended results. That's a merino yarn. So I think it would be even really nice in Knitting for Olive with their merino held double. Or, hear me out, 1 strand of merino and then 1 strand of the compatible cashmere. Again, with just a subtle difference maybe in tones, and you might get a little bit more of that marling look, or match the tones exactly to get a more sophisticated look. Anyway, I think the options are endless. She has it graded in 10 sizes, ranging from 32 to 75 inches, with 2 to 6 inches of intended positive ease. She actually includes the modifications for the bicep circumference. So you don't even have to do guesswork. It's already there. How wonderful is that? Again, like I said, Rebecca really has a reputation for the fine details. So this is knit up on a US 4 on a gauge of 20 stitches per 4 inches. That's the Stick Season by Clow. Next up, I have Justin's Flannel by Alicia Plummer. Now, imagine your trusty, reliable flannel that's just waiting to be thrown on for an evening book reading session or pizza night or playing fetch with the dog. That's what this is going to become for him. It's that perfectly tailored transition piece that just has that perfect pop of texture to give it that visual interest that you would enjoy knitting. You can wear it layered over a button down or on its own. It's worked top down. And so you start in the flat and then end up joining in the round after the neck shaping is complete. It's an Aran weight yarn that she uses. She uses the Julie Asselin Nurtured, but guys, any yarn or yarn combination that would get you 18 stitches per 4 inches on an US 8 would be appropriate. Now, I think about that gauge of 18 and I'm thinking, sky's the limit. I mean, you've got Knitting for Olive, Cascade 220, you've got all these different yarns or combinations of yarn. You could find it is graded in 9 different sizes, ranging from 36.5 to 68.5 inches, with an intended positive ease of 2 to 4 inches. Now it's knit up on a US 8 with an intended gauge of 18 stitches per 4 inches, like we said. And I just think this is just a beautiful staple to a man's wardrobe. I'm gonna have a hard time choosing. You guys are gonna have to help me choose which one to knit up for Mr. Knot. All right, so that was That was Justin's Flannel by Alicia Plummer. So next up, I have another Alicia Plummer sweater. This one is in the Stillness 2. This sweater features texture in the yoke to add dimension to a classic stockinette body sweater. So this, I think that most men would feel very comfortable wearing. It's top down. You knit flat to start, and then you join in the round after the neckline shaping is complete. This is a very nice looking sweater, very masculine, but yet simple and understated. For shaping, she does use raglan increases. She has graded this in 10 sizes, ranging from 36 to 72 inches. And she includes a schematic. So again, yay, Alicia. The yarn that she's used is the Madeline Tosh wool cotton blend in the DK weight. She recommends knitting it up on a US 7 with a gauge of 20 stitches per 4 inches. That is in the Stillness 2 by Alicia Plummer. All right. Now, we've been talking about texture. A discussion on texture would not be complete without bringing into the mix the Storm Sweater Man by Petite Knit. You can hate on Petite Knit all you want if you're that person, but Petite Knit brings something to the table. She is a very, very good pattern designer in that her instructions are very clear, her designs are very classic, and a lot of people love her. This sweater is knit top down. So first you knit the back yoke, and then you work some short rows, and then stitches are picked up at the shoulder, and then you knit around, and then you shape the neck, and then you join to form the front of the yoke, and eventually you join the body and you're knitting in the round. Now, this is another little sampler platter type of sweater where you're going to have all different types of texture that are just going to keep you engaged as the sweater progresses. You are not going to get bored. So I think this is a great option. And it does have all over texture, but it's understated in a very masculine way. So I don't feel like it feels fussy or dainty in any way, shape, or form. And I think most men would really appreciate this beautiful sweater. It's timeless and is going to become a staple in his wardrobe. Now, the yarn that she uses is a Stillness Garn Pure Gint DK. Now again, to me, it's a very rustic yarn. And so I would use caution if you choose this yarn. Other options would be so many. I mean, any DK yarn that has good stitch definition, I would say Knitting for Olive Merino Held Double. I would say Knitting McPurley has some beautiful DK blends. Farmer Daughter Fiber has lots of options in DK that are bouncy but not scratchy. Use your imagination, but don't feel like you're confined to the yarn that the designer used, because there are other options. Now, this is graded in 9 sizes, ranging from 33.25 to 56.75 inches. This sweater has a stitch gauge of 20 stitches on 4 inches, knit on a US 4. Again, that's the Storm Sweater Man by Petite Knit. Now I want to get into some cardigans and sweaters other than pullovers for the I don't wear sweaters guys. This is a versatile little group that I have. We're going to start out with the Forester Henley by Alicia Plummer. This sweater strikes the perfect balance between classic and rugged. It features texture that's going to add sophistication combined with a tailored fit, and then it has a quarter button band that is very sporty. I feel like this is the perfect sweater for adventuring outdoors, relaxing by a fire. I can see this being the perfect sweater under your fishing gear or hunting gear. This just kind of gives me those vibes. It is knit bottom up. It has a mock neck. And like I said before, it has that button band, that quarter button band that is knit with the yoke so you don't have to come back afterwards and pick up stitches. She has it graded in 13 sizes, and those range from 33 to 81 inches with an intended positive ease of 2 to 4 inches. The yarn she recommends is the Barocco Ultra Alpaca, which is a worsted weight alpaca wool blend. And let's get back to itchy, guys. Alpaca can be scratchy. I think you have to be careful with that. I would definitely have him feel alpaca before I knit an entire sweater in it. That's just my opinion. But the good news is it's worsted weight and the sky's the limit. You can pick any yarn under the sun. But as far as the recommended one, I would be a little bit cautious maybe. I don't know, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of alpaca? Do you think it's kind of pokey? I think it's kind of pokey. So the stitch gauge on this is 20 stitches per 4 inches on a US 7. So again, that's a Forester Henley by Alicia Plummer. Next up, I have the Old Fashioned by Maxim Cyr. Guys, this is a showstopper. This cardigan, it's a magnificent collared cardigan with all over texture that is reportedly easy to memorize. So I'm trusting it. But man, this cardigan is undeniably masculine without veering into the grandpa territory, for sure. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the grandpas. I love grandpas, but this has a youthful vibe to it. That collar adding that touch of sophistication, making it perfect to layer over a t-shirt or a regular shirt. Think of a college-age guy, your boyfriend. He has his graphic tee, and then he throws on this neutral cardigan over it that's open and just kind of gives that cool vibe. I think it would be appropriate for young all the way to very old. It transcends the generations in regards to style. So that's my opinion. Correct me if you think I'm wrong, but this cardigan is knit top down with raglan increases that are just beautiful. He does such a beautiful job with detail in his sweaters, which is probably why I keep including him. He knit this up with a yarn weight yarn. The yarn he used was the Le Garçon British Aran. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm saying it wrong, correct me. I don't speak French. But that yarn is a BFL Masham wool blend. So again, a little rustic, but like I just said, you're going to wear this as a layering piece. So for example, this yarn to me would be a little bit scratchy, but on my arms and over a shirt, I don't even feel it. So maybe investigate that a little bit before you cast on with this Le Garçon British Aran. But I think it would be probably one of the safer projects to venture into the rustic wool with, because of the fact that you're going to be most likely layering. Now, this cardigan, do you see the details on the collar? It looks like it's double knit and it is so beautiful. And then the beautiful way that he does the raglan. Guys, I am just so in love with this. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time moving on from it. I just think this is gorgeous. Let's talk a little bit about ease. So this is graded in 9 sizes, ranging from 33.25 to 65.25 inches, with an intended positive ease of 4 to 8 inches. Now looking at him wearing this, I wouldn't go bigger than that. If you look, he's wearing this open and it has the recommended ease, I'm assuming. And if it were bigger, it would just hang on him. So be careful. Do not knit these too big. Do not put too much ease in them. So when I was looking on Ravelry, there was definitely a cohort that was knitting these too big and it doesn't look good. A lot of us like things oversized. It doesn't look good on guys. Okay, it just doesn't. It's not cute. Guys, it's not cute. Quit knitting oversized things for your man. Okay. That's my public service warning for the day. Back to the sweater. It's knit up on with a 16 stitch gauge on a per 4 inches on a US 8. Again, that's the old fashioned by Maxim Cyr. This is a gem from Maxim Cyr. And let me tell you, when you knit this for your man, I believe he's not going to believe that you did it. This does not look like a hand knit sweater. It is so stylish. It's a top-down button-up shirt with a double knit collar, and it's just so stylish. It's short-sleeved, and I think it looks awesome like over a t-shirt. There is a picture of a guy who has it buttoned all the way up. That looks good on him too, but I think you have to have the right figure for that. I think a lot of men don't have the right figure for that, but that being said, it is a magnificent sweater. I'm not sure which to call it. It's all over texture, and the texture is gorgeous. Can we just look at that texture? Is it not gorgeous? Yeah. It has short rows in the back. It's worked flat, obviously, because it's cardigan style, and it's knit up on a sport weight yarn. And the yarn that he recommends is the Wandering Flock Cotton Lino, which is a summer blend of cotton, silk, cellulose, camelid alpaca. And that camelid alpaca is a very small percentage, so I don't think it's going to be itchy. But again, most likely he's going to wear this over a t-shirt and there won't be any skin touching anywhere. It is just ultra cool. Now this one, a little different than all the others. Now I'm going to take it all back. My point on this is that most likely he's going to wear it open. And with this particular shirt, I don't think you need to make it way oversized, but I think going toward the top end of the recommended ease is fine. When you see it on him, he's wearing a fair bit of ease and it just gives it that relaxed look. I think in a shirt, the relaxed look is fine. Anyway, this is knit up on a US 5 and with an intended gauge of 19 stitches per 4 inches. Next up, another hit by Rebecca Clow of the Creabea. We have the Lanark sweater. Now this one is kind of a relaxed sweater with a drop shoulder, and it's quarter zip basically, that's knit up in half fisherman's rib. Now, if you know anything about half fisherman's rib, it is squishy, so squishy. And so I think this would just be one of those cozy fall vibe sweaters, or knits rather, that would get a ton of wear. I can see it being your football Sunday cozy sweater, and I can see you knitting this for him and stealing it from him. Don't do that. Don't steal his sweaters, make your own. It does come in 10 sizes, ranging from 35 to 71.5 1.25 inches with a recommended ease of 4 to 6 inches. And like I said, it's written unisex. And Rebecca reports that the pattern testers said that in regards to knitting it for men, all you needed to do was add some length in the arms and the body, and it fits. So again, getting back to what I said earlier, just buying some extra yarn to make sure you have enough, and I think this is good to go. So the yarn she recommends is the DK yarn, and she used Bare Naked Wool's Kent in DK. Sounds a little rustic, and I think that's fine. Now, again, this might be something he wears over a t-shirt, right? And so if his arms are okay with that more rustic fiber, I think you're good to go. And the nice thing about the more rustic fiber, it is going, with that fisherman's rib, you're going to get some bounce. And so if you like that, I think this could be just a winner. It's knit up on a US 4 with an intended gauge of 18 stitches per 4 inches. What do you guys think of that one? I feel like I want one for myself. Yeah, so that's the Lanark sweater by Rebecca Clow of the Creabea. Last, but certainly not least, I have the Hot Toddy hoodie by Chantal of Knitatude. This is the ultimate in hoodies. It is classic construction. It has a drawstring hood. It's knit up worsted weight, so it's going to be quick and satisfying. Here's what I envision. In the fall, throwing it on to go rake leaves. And then later on, sitting by the campfire. I can see it for cool evening strolls in the fall. I just think it's going to be super versatile, and it's not fussy. So he's not going to feel like he has to keep it pristine. It's going to be like that everyday wear kind of sweater. So if that's what you want for him, something you can just throw on and feel super comfortable in, I think this is your ticket, because it's a project that's both fun to knit and practical to wear. And it's a hit across generations. It has quite a wide size range. It's graded in 9 sizes, ranging from 30 to 64 inches with an intended ease of 4 to 6 inches. And the yarn recommended is Vantage Choice. Now, let's talk about Vantage Choice. I have no problem with Vantage Choice. I have used every acrylic yarn under the sun for different things, and I think they have their place. However, I don't know if sweater knitting for your significant other is that place. So here's what I'm going to say about acrylic yarn and sweaters. For me, I tend to find them to be not breathable. And a lot of women are cold all the time, and they don't mind that. They're like, it's insulating. I love how warm it keeps me. How many men like how warm something keeps them? Like, they want something breathable. And maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I feel like you'd be way better off with a moderately priced wool. Even something like from Drops, one of their worsted weight wools might be a better option if you wanted a budget-friendly yarn. But be careful about using acrylic in his sweaters. That's all I'm going to say about that. So this sweater is knit up on a US 9 with an intended gauge of 15 stitches per 4 inches. All right, so you have figured out his size. You figured out the ease that he wants. It's time for me to reprieve myself with Mr. Knot and knit him a sweater that actually fits him. So the ultimate curse breaker boils down to 3 little words. Not I love you, swatch, measure, communicate. These steps are going to ensure you create something truly cherished. So there you have it. Pick a pattern. Take his measurements from his favorite hoodie or his actual measurements, and you've got the antidote to the sweater curse. So cast on with confidence and tag me in your progress pictures, please. I love to see what you're working on. Now, if you want more myth-busting knitting content like this, hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss an episode. In the meantime, follow me on Instagram and Ravelry at @ANaughtyKnitter2. And guys, just thank you so much for joining me at the French Knot. Every week, I just look forward to seeing you and chatting with you. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But until then, happy knitting!